So, there is this story of a 17-year-old girl named Peculiar who they said poisoned her ex-boyfriend along with 4 of his friends. Now, this incident was said to have happened around the 26th of October 2024 in a Fascio community in Edo State. It was also around this time that their body was discovered, when it was said neighbors noticed that nobody had come out of the house, citing the fact that there were about 5 people in that house. But when it was morning, they hadn't seen anyone come out of the house until one of the friends of the boy went to the house to request for a shoe. Only then was the discovery of their lifeless body made. In a video circulating, you could see 2 bodies in the sitting room lying next to each other. Then there was another body found along the hallway leading up to the room or maybe the kitchen. Eventually, in the bedroom, we get to see the intended victim, who goes by the name of Emmanuel, laying dead in bed along with his female friend, making it a total of 5 bodies. At the initial time, it was said that neighbors thought it was generator smoke because it's not uncommon for people to lose their life due to generator fumes. We've seen this multiple times on the news in headlines where multiple people in a home suddenly do not wake up because they have been gassed to death due to the fact that their generator was so close to their window, so close to their ventilation, that it tends to penetrate in and then affect the breathing of everyone else. But this is where a lot of people are confused, because it was not just a self-contained. There was a sitting room, there was a kitchen, and there was a bedroom. It seemed like a 1-bedroom apartment. And it did not make sense that generator fumes from one end would get all the way to the bedroom to kill the 2 couple in bed. And this is where the speculation that it may have been food poisoning rather than just generator fumes. Soon afterwards, it was reported that a young girl by the name of Peculiar was arrested in connection to the murder of the Afasio 5. According to the narrative, Peculiar is the said ex-girlfriend to the owner of the apartment, a boy named Emmanuel. And they said that she was the one who had made pepper soup for him with the intent to poison him. Unfortunately, Emmanuel ended up sharing the pepper soup with his guests, his younger brother, his female friend, and 2 of his friends who had come to visit him and sleep over that day. Now, this is just the theory flying regarding Peculiar and how she may have killed Ima and his friends. A particular source on Twitter said the girl had denied killing the boy, that she doesn't know anything regarding his death and that of his friend's death. However, there is still the narrative that she had admitted to it. Some other sources are claiming that Peculiar admitted to poisoning the boy but only intended to kill Emmanuel, that she did not know that he had friends over who would share the food with him. As at the time of making this video, the police have not exactly made any specific reports on this. They've not said that she did it for a fact. We are hearing investigation is still ongoing and she has been taken into custody. It's not clear if she's being treated as a suspect or a person of interest, or pretty much the police are just holding her down to prevent people from lynching her, because now the entire community thinks she did it. Although an autopsy has not been conducted, which I think should be, because that is the only way for sure we can know what really killed these young fellows. Were they poisoned by food or were they poisoned by carbon monoxide? So as it stands now, the young girl Peculiar is claiming her innocence as far as we know. However, where there is smoke, there is fire. Sometimes it's a generator and sometimes it's a bitter ex-girlfriend. Because it did not take long for TikTok users to find cryptic posts that this girl Peculiar had made on her TikTok that would have suggested she was capable of doing such a thing. In one particular post she made, she claimed that anybody who wished her bad would receive cries of sorrows in their compound. This is to mirror the visible cries of people who were in the house when these bodies were being retrieved. Many people believe that this post she made is suggesting of the fact that she may have been capable of poisoning her ex-boyfriend along with the friends to death. And one of her recent posts also suggests that she was still much deep in thoughts of the relationship that had just ended. Our last post was talking about relationship. So it's buying into the narrative that as at the time of this incident, she was still somewhat bitter or somewhat still reminiscing on the fact that her relationship had just ended, even though she wasn't specific on who she was referring to on that post. But many people believe that the post is suggesting that she is still pained and hurt by the fact that her relationship with Ima had just ended. But the big question in everyone's mouth is, Why did he meet his ex-girlfriend to cook pepper soup for him? This is where many people are a little bit confused. If Ima was done with Peculiar, why is Peculiar still making food for him? Or was he not aware she was the one who made the pepper soup? Or was this one of those things where they tried to be friends? Because, even as much as I'm against it, most people always tend to want to be friends with their exes, especially immediately after they break up. Could this be one of those things where Iman was just trying to warm up with her? Probably he trusted her, or probably he was just trying to patronize her business. But if the relationship had ended in a very terrible way or in a bad way where somebody is sad and somebody is not happy, why then do you have to meet that same person to cook food for you? Especially when you maybe have another girl in your house, because as at the time we get to see that Emmanuel had a female guest whom laid dead next to him in bed. Did Peculiar know that another woman was in the house and decided to do this to punish them? But if that is the case, or if that's not the case, the big thing is, who goes to their ex to cook food for them? Who does that? Maybe Emmanuel was just one of those guys who did not take the breakup seriously, or maybe he thought the relationship ended in a very formal way, in a very peaceful way where he didn't think too much of it. And this only follows the topic that we have seen here a lot. Don't go back to your ex, especially if they have not healed, especially if they are not done dealing with the aftermath of the breakup. Many people are still bitter. It looked like Emmanuel had moved on, and it looked like she was still holding on to the grudges of the fact that she had lost the relationship. When the opportunity came for her to maybe make food for him, she took the chances to hurt him back. We don't really know the dynamics of their relationship. We don't know what transpired, why they broke up, who broke up with whom. But the fact that there is that possibility that she made the last food that killed him is suggesting of something else here. It's almost like maybe she probably really didn't. Maybe people are just suspecting her because the breakup was just recent, and then there is no other person to look out for other than her. This happens a lot when two friends fight and then a day or two later one dies of something else. Everybody would tend to look at the person they had fought with. So I am assuming that this could have just been the case. Because we're yet to confirm for a fact that she did it, but there is also that chance that she probably also didn't do it. Given the timing and also given the rationale behind asking your recently broken up girlfriend to make pepper soup for you and your friends to eat. It's weird. Or again, like we've said, I know you people say I repeat a lot. It also could be, again, that this was his way of warming up to her, Maybe he was trying to soften things with the two of them by still trusting her to make food. I don't know. Some guys do certain things. When you get hurt, they want to act like nothing happened, and they want to act like, oh, come and help me do this. Come and do this for me. Come and do this for me, to make you feel like you're still part of their life. I don't know if that was the situation. It could have been, but it clearly ended up tragically. Now, on the flip side of the fact that this could have been a generator fumes, it's also very possible. It's a small apartment like we see. So there is that possibility that the generator fumes went all the way into the house, because we've seen these generator fume accidents it happens quite often. It happens more often than a lot of people realize. If this wasn't related to a girl or an ex-girlfriend being poisoned, if Peculiar was not in this theory, the story would not have gone as viral as it did. Because what many people don't know is that a lot of people in the suburbs, in the rural areas, many of them lose their life because of generator poisoning, because of carbon monoxide poisoning. That carbon monoxide poisoning is a very deadly one that people don't know. And that once the generator fumes, sometimes you don't see it, starts getting into your house, into your ventilation system, especially if your generator is at the garage next to your window, it affects the oxygen and the air that people breathe. And it's not one of those ones that gives you warning. And looking at the way these victims were found, positioned dead, except from the ones in the parlor and the ones in the middle room, there is no coughing, there is nothing coming out of their mouth. Usually we would assume if it's food poisoning, there will be a little bit of fluid or foam or something to suggest that the food has caused some kind of damage in their system that would want to either come out from their mouth or their nose or any part of their body. That is how most poison that we know tend to work. There is always visible signs of something in their mouth, nose, or eyes. But in the video, they all seemed peaceful, except the ones in the sitting room or the one laying on the passageway. It looked like they were most likely trying to crawl out, or they tried something to, or maybe they realized last minute that they were losing consciousness. But the boy and the girl in the room laid peacefully somewhat. It didn't look like the stomach hurt them to a point where they had to run out of the house. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. I'm not a toxicologist, so we would hope the police get these young people an autopsy and see what really caused the death of these young fellows, so that we would know for a fact, did Peculiar do it, or is this carbon monoxide poisoning? We'll be following this story, so make sure you are subscribed. Don't forget to turn on notification. Should there be any new video, you'll be the first to get notified.